We are finally here. We finally here. I noticed what a lot of y'all been waiting on, or at least a few of y'all from the reactions and things, the activity I've been seeing in the comment section on my dynasty rebuild, so on and so forth. But it's the franchise rebuild for Madden NFL 25. And I know y'all probably wondering what took them so long, what's been taking them so long. It's been a thing of mine for the last couple years, especially since I started my gaming channel, to document my franchise rebuild. I'm so used to putting out my dynasty content, but my franchise rebuild, and I've always documented it. I just never took the time out to edit it and constantly post. And then I also took the year off in 2023, as y'all know, I mentioned before. But if you don't, I took the year off in I started my channel in 2022, took off, got up to about 500 something subs, took the year off in 23. But even in taking that year off, I still got subscribers, and I'm greatly appreciative of all of you guys. And I'm here to make up for the time missed by giving you all the content I can give you right now. And I've always documented for the last couple years, but I never put the content out. So now it's time for me to put the content out. And why did I wait so long? You might be asking. Well, the reason why I waited so long is because I planned on documenting my online league. Like, it could have been easy as hell for me to document a offline franchise, but I always wanted to document my online league where I'm in a league with other users. Now, is the league completely filled out? No. We have about 15 or 16 users, but we normally try to keep it to where it's 16 to 20 users, and we keep some computer open because we utilize those computer games as far as development games. So, and then also another reason why it took so long is because we never start our league until the first patch drops for Madden 25. So we wait to kick it off probably just before or just after the league starts in real life, because we know the update of beat happened, the roster update happened, the patch to the first major bugs in the game is taken care of, all of that. So we can start now. We're starting now because all of that has taken place. And my franchise rebuild is with the Oakland Raiders. Every year I'll always choose a sorry team and try to build them from the ground up, because anybody can take a good team. Anybody can take a good team and be successful and be good with that. But that takes away from the experience of being your own GM, being your own owner, your own coach, etc. All that. Building these players up, bringing them in at low ratings, developing them, signing them for cheap deals while they're young so you could develop them and retain them and not worry about losing them because you got to pay them a big contract. So it's time. And what we do is I keep everything closed off as far as like any kind of transactions until a set time for everything to kick off. And we're actually about to roll up on that. So it's about to kick off for everybody in the league to be able to make their free agent signings, and nobody can sign anybody until the given time, which should be coming up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The league is kicked off. Now it's a free-for-all. You witnessing the madness right along with me. If you see me speeding through, it's because what I do is I go in, I create a dummy league before the league actually starts. And I target specific players. I see who I can get, who's available in free agency, etc., etc. And I jot that down. And when the league jumps off, like I said, it's a free-for-all. Everybody's scrambling and try to get the players that they want. And a lot of the other players in this league think the same way that I do. So you got to be quick on your feet. You don't know who's targeting your first target first, who's targeting second target first. You just got to be quick on your feet to get who you get. And me, I go after the speedsters. Again, if you've been watching my dynasty rebuild, you know I'm big on speed. But Madden is totally different from college football. College football, if you don't have speed on your team that you picked right then and there, you have to build that through the recruiting class. In Madden, you have free agency. You have trades you can make with other teams. So it's easy to build that team from the jump. But I'm never really going after the high-rated players. As you can see with these signings that I'm making right now as we speak, I'm never really going after. extremely high rated players. I go after the low rated players with speed, because you could be a high rated player but don't have speed, and you not be much of any use for me really, except for certain specific situations. But if you have speed, you can do a lot of damage for me, and I can build you up, and then you can be what that player is that doesn't have speed plus having speed. So yeah, we working, we moving. So far, I'm getting everybody that I wanted. It's panning out just like how I wanted it to. Fairly, I gotta get the big cornerbacks with the speed, because a lot of receivers today are not just fast, but they bigger too. So you gotta have the bigger guys to go with them. So I'm just filling out my roster, as you can see. Taking the players that I already targeted. Mere speed was definitely one of them. So yeah, y'all gonna see a lot of things that you don't see in the dynasty mode in college football. So first and foremost, there I do have a lot of rules as far as like certain things you could do. There's certain limitations, because with us having a league with users being pretty much half filled with users and half computer, you don't want, now when this in this league's inception back in 2015, 2016, it was always half the league was filled to about 20, 22 people. Sometimes there was a couple times where we had it pretty filled up, but if it wasn't filled, a lot of them CPU teams would get raided through and just completely ravaged, and they'd end up having poor cap with a bunch of old players. They might have been good players, but they're probably old players and slowly declining. So when somebody did decide that they want to join like a year or two down the line, they'd have to take one of these trash teams, and all I could do for them really is like clear the cap penalties for them having to pick up a team that is in a terrible situation financially and roster build wise. So I've come up with rules over the years to limit how bad these computer teams end up being. So like one of the main things is every user in the league, as far as computer trades are concerned, you're only allowed to acquire a total of 3 picks and a total of 3 players the entire calendar year, from preseason to preseason. And if you break that rule, whoever was the last player you acquired, you have to give that player back, and you don't get your cap penalties reset just because your cap is messed up because of what you did. So that's one thing that limits it, and 2, what helps with that in keeping computer teams somewhat decent is the fact that they enable the ability to make the trades harder. So I don't have it on very hard. I don't have it on normal. I have it on hard, which is good enough. So you not only have the trade rules of only being able to acquire 3 picks for the year and 3 players for the year, but it's also harder to acquire these players. So it makes people kind of standoffish on what they want to do. Me, I already have an idea of what I want to do, because like I said, I created a dummy league, and I've made some of these moves. So I have an idea once the league does start what I need to do going into the situation. So that's one thing. Another thing is other rules that we have in this league, because again, it's different when I'm playing the computer on my offline dynasty or in my offline franchise. I could play a different way, but in this franchise, you kind of have to play another way, because other users are out there doing whatever they can or whatever they want against the computer. So to limit what you do against the computer, I have rules in place of point limitations, yardage limitations against the CPU. So if anybody breaks any of those rules, if you go over by a certain amount of yards, like if it's a limited amount of yards or by a touchdown, well, then you have to sit that player for 1 game. It's reasonable that way, because for instance, these rules are in place because not everybody can play the computer like everybody else can. So it's not fair to one person to just go crazy against the computer, and then another person that can't play the computer like that and you'll never be able to be in position to get a chance to get one of those awards. So that's why these rules are in place. So if you break the yardage record by a minimal amount or by one touchdown, then you have to sit that player at one game. If you break it a step up, then you have to sit them two games. If you break it any further than that, well, they have to sit 5 games. So it makes users think twice before what they decide they want to do against the computer. So I again, I have my rules book for this league is pretty big, but it's because of what people have done over the years against the computer. You know, there's always going to be people trying to manipulate the system, trying to exploit the system. So all I could do is try to minimize it as much as I can. And the purpose for that is to make the experience as enjoyable for everybody else as possible. A lot of people get in these leagues and it's just cheesed out left and right. We try to keep this as realistic and simulation based as possible. So that's why I have so many rules for the league. But you know, it's a lot of people enjoy this league. I enjoy the league for sure. This league is what's kept me playing Madden for all of these years. When people were ready to quit and give up on Madden, I was ready to quit and give up on Madden. This online league came in and saved me. And shout out to my boy Tony Archuleta too. He was the one who officially jumped off the league back in 2015 when I started my SGN group on Facebook, just for all my friends and their friends that do sports gaming to join and be able to share their content, their clips, whatever. He was one of the first ones to say, hey, let's start a league. I wasn't down for starting a league because I played online head to head before back in the day, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I know now that it was cheese and it was people using glitch plays, but I faced off against somebody that was using glitch plays, and I was like, I'm never playing online again. This is trash. And long story short, they tried to get me to start the league, and I was like, nah, I don't play online. I only play offline. And I was like, if y'all want to start it, y'all can. So he went ahead and jumped off the league, and probably like a month or so went by, and then him and other people started posting like the bracket for the playoffs and who's facing off against who and who did what. And I looked at it, I was like, man, this look kind of fun. I ain't gonna lie. So I was like, I might have to jump in. And then as soon as I said that, about 4 or 5 other people decided they wanted to jump in just because I was jumping in. It's just crazy. But yeah, ever since then, we've been rocking with this league ever since. It's too fun. It's too fun. It's a lot more for a game to be as limited as Madden is, being in an online league, being your own GM and coaching staff, scouting, developing against other people's GM, scouting, coaching, developing, and constantly competing, not just on the field, but constantly competing to acquire these players is it's a fun experience. It's a fun experience, and it's nothing you ever get tired of because it's a forever revolving door. It's like what college football gave us with dynasty mode, coming back and giving us dynasty mode back and giving us the tools to keep us interested in playing. This is like the same thing, but the only difference is we might not have all of those tools, but who we're facing off against and constantly competing with these guys, not only to build and develop our team, but to try to fight for a championship as well. It's a beautiful feeling. You won't know unless you've been there before, and you had to have been in the right league. Because, like I said, I try to run this league as sim-based as possible, as realistic as possible, and we get full enjoyment out of it. But again, this is the build mode. This video is gonna be the longest one of the series because it's the jump start to the league. Every year when we first start the league, the first phase is always an hour or too long. Now, of course, this is chopped up, but the first phase is always an hour or too long because you doing everything you can to build. If you already have a team that's already a stacked team, like say you got the 49ers or say you got the Chiefs or something like that, well, you don't have much that you have to do. You probably acquire a piece or two or whatever. But if you pick a sorry team, which I went with the Raiders because Not only are they not that great, but they don't have a quarterback locked in on a huge contract, so I can build and develop my quarterback. And they have a ton of cap space. So when I go to re-sign all these players that I'm signing in free agency right now, I can lock them up on 7-year slave contracts. And after that, when free agency comes the following season, I'll be good to go. So yeah, this phase is always going to be the longest phase. You're going to see me doing a lot of roster acquisitions, free agency wise, a lot of trades. I'm going to be making trades with the computer. I'm going to get my 3 players off. I'm going to get my 3 draft picks off. And I'm also going to be making trades and negotiating with other users, because I already have plans before I come into this league of certain trades with certain people that I'm trying to perform. And even some of the users that I know, specifically some of the guys that I work with, we had discussions already. Like, if you get this team, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for from you. So you're going to see me quick draw McGraw with a lot of these trades that I make. And it's just going to round off my team. And another thing that you're going to notice as the franchise rebuild goes on is that this is the most transactions you're going to ever see me make, because I am building my team from scratch. I'm building it from the ground up. But after I get this team built the way I want them built and get these guys signed under contracts, after this year, after the first free agency of this franchise, after the season is over with, that's the most you're ever going to see me do. Everything else is just going to be scouting and drafting after that, because I have my team built to where I have it after that. So get used to seeing shorter episodes. Get used to seeing a lot less transactions after this first phase. Like I said, this first episode will probably be 45 minutes to an hour, because you're going to see me making all my moves, making all my transactions, negotiating, etc., etc. So far, so good of I got my team built. Now we just need to make some of these trades that I was talking about so we can get this team fully rounded out like we want it to. So one of my targets, I know y'all saw already, I had it up there, but Lewis Seen, definitely been targeting him. He's been a guy that I add to my team the last 2-3 Maddens every time. You can't beat that. He's a go-to player to acquire. He's big. He's a safety. He's 92 speed. You can't go wrong with that. You can always develop that. So as you can see, no, the Rams are not user controlled. But one of my targets from the Rams was Byron Young. And one of my good friends, my close friends, like a brother to me, he robbed me of him last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and get him back real quick. He's probably not even watching this. So I'm going to go ahead and get him back real quick by catching Byron Young before he can get a chance to get his hands on him, since he took him from me last year. But let's just got to see if they take what I give them, because again, we have the trade difficulty set to hard, so it's not easy to just trade for anybody. So will they take? No. As you can see, they declined it. So I'm probably going to have to tag along some picks, which is understandable, because Byron Young is a really good, really great young prospect to acquire. So gonna have to attach some prospects. I don't know, not prospects. I'm sorry. Gonna have to attach some draft picks, because as you know, oh wow, Jacorian Bennett, yeah, he's definitely staying. 96 speed, 97 acceleration. He'll be one of those guys that I lock up for 7 years. Now, I know you're probably wondering, like, you're gonna see, I'm not even going to what am I trying to say? Document, or it's gonna be documented, but I'm gonna edit it out. But you're gonna see that a lot of these guys that's on here that's under contract already for like another 3 or 4 years, you're gonna see I'm gonna end up signing them to 7-year contract extensions. And there's a method that I use that I'm not trying to put out there, at least not on here, for everybody that's in my league to be able to see what I'm doing. Some of them already know because I've seen some of them do it, but not everybody does it. And I'm not trying to put everybody on the sauce. Screw that. If that's something y'all are interested in, I can mention it later at a later time. But there's a method that I do where I'm able to sign them even though they're already under contract for 3 or 4 years. That won't get documented in here. Again, if that's something y'all interested in, hit me up. I might could finagle something, do a private video or something like that and share that with y'all. But I like to lock all my guys up, lock all of them up for 7-8 years, so I ain't got to worry about no cap issues. I ain't got to worry about losing them when they develop. If they mind, they mind. So I would get Marshawn Lloyd. I'm definitely getting Malik Willis. Malik Willis has been my development quarterback the last 2 Maddens. And the last 2 Maddens, I always have him up there in the 90s, sometimes after year 1, because I go crazy with him. He has the intangibles. He has the speed. He has the rocket arm. And at the end of the day, I'm controlling him. And again, this is not like college football. Like college football, I don't know none of the playbooks. I came out the gate using Nebraska, and I'm still filling out Nebraska's playbook. Madden, I use the Cowboys playbook every year, so I know all the plays. You're going to see a lot there. It's a bigger variety of plays when I'm playing a game. So I'm going to be able to do work with Malik Willis like I did the last couple seasons. I definitely got to get somebody. I got to make sure the quarterbacks that's backing him up have the same skill set. Because one thing when you develop in a team, whoever your quarterback is, you want to make sure whoever his backup is, they can do similar things to him. So that's why if you notice out the gate, I signed Desmond Ridder, and then I went and traded Malik Willis. I didn't sign Desmond Ridder to be the starter. I signed Desmond Ridder to be the backup for Malik Willis, which sounds crazy when you factor in that Ridder's a 71 and Willis is a 63. But keep watching. You'll see. I'm going to keep y'all posted. But again, this is the most exciting time about the league is the early addition part, the transaction part, acquiring, building a team how you want it, and then developing them throughout the year. Emmanuel Forbes has always been one that's been on my radar that I've been targeting. He's tall, lanky, he's quick, he's really fast. That's what you need when you playing in online league and you playing against other users. They going for speedsters as well. They going for them big speedsters on the outside, and you got to make sure you got what you need to be able to counteract that. So another guy I normally always acquire is Amari Barnum. But as you can see, he's out a couple weeks. So I'll be negotiating with my boy who's controlling the Panthers if I don't find what I need beforehand. So we going to see. I may acquire Barno, I may not. I may finesse and wait till the offseason and send him Max Crosby in return for Barno. You can't turn that down. But not every user thinks like me either. So they might be thinking like, oh, they might see that 90-something overall and be like, hey, I'm going to take that in a heartbeat. I can turn somebody that's a 60-something overall with 92, 93 speed into a 90-something in a year or two. That's nothing. So I've always, y'all got to factor in, again, I've been playing Madden since, and I'm really about to show my age right here, but I've been playing Madden since Madden 92. Now, yeah, Madden 92, you could say I would have been, 5 at that time. But that wasn't when I started playing Madden 92. I started playing Madden 92 at 7 because we didn't get that game until 94. So, but yes, I've been playing Madden since Madden 92. I'm a diehard Madden fan. I'm a diehard sports gaming fan. All my content, as you can tell, is sports gaming content. I had an instance there for like a 2-year window where I was like playing Fortnite whenever I wasn't playing sports games. But with college football coming back, that completely filled that void. And I just have no time for Fortnite or any of them other games if it ain't sports games. So majority of my content, or pretty much all my content you're going to see is me on Madden, me on college football, me on 2K. I plan on getting that new DBZ game when it drops, but that's a story for another day. We're gonna see. I probably stream that on Twitch more than anything. Follow me on Twitch, by the way, Rio West Gaming. But I couldn't get Forbes because he was hurt. And I only can acquire one player left, which is the problem here. So, although I probably can go without Pitts because I have what's his name? Bowers. I want to get Pitts because I don't want him in the hands of the wrong user. So I'm gonna go ahead and acquire Pitts now. And plus, my game style is tight end heavy, anyways. So I utilize all three of my tight ends from tight end number 1 down to tight end number 3. If I got a fourth tight end gonna get some action too. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in, and I'm gonna see if maybe nobody steals Forbes. If nobody steals Forbes, I'll probably see if I can get my partner with the Panthers to try to finesse something and go grab him and send him back to me, and I send him a little like draft pick or something. Who knows? But if somebody else snatches him up, I might have to go negotiate with them and see if I could possibly send them something. So definitely won't be shipping Tucker out. Tucker got everything that I need. As you can see, I got nothing but speedsters at receiver. Nothing speedsters. So how did I pick Trey Tucker? I was not trying to pick Trey Tucker. I was trying to pick whatchamacallit. But anyways, take him off the list, god damn it. We're gonna acquire Pitts, and we're just gonna continue to fill this team out until I'm ready. And again, I'm gonna offer these other trades. Yeah, Myers, that's who I was trying to send. Not Tucker. But anyways, I'm gonna continue to fill this roster out the way that I need it filled out. Still got some decent cap room. Again, I could make all these moves. I could drop a lot of players. I could trade a lot of players and not take a huge hit because we have such large amount of cap space. Especially, watch, y'all gonna see when I go view team salaries, and then you'll see what we got the next season, especially when I go to re-sign players. Oh yeah, we good. We good. That's part of the reason why I picked the Raiders. Like normally I pick other teams for specific reasons. And I mentioned this in a prior video for college football, that when I do Madden teams, it might have been college football. It might have been one of the videos when I was talking about team builder and Madden. But where I was discussing that normally when I pick my teams in Madden, I go with something to give me a nostalgic vibe. So like 2 years ago when I did my rebuild on an online league, it was the Minnesota Vikings. And I never wore their current uniforms. The only uniforms I wore the uniforms from the 90s. And the players I acquired, I gave them certain numbers. So like I acquired Malik Willis and gave him number 7. So he was like my Randall Cunningham. Then I acquired DJ Chark since he's 6'4" and he's a speedster, and I gave him 84 so he can be like my Moss. And so on and so forth. And I acquired Tyree Jackson and moved him back to quarterback and gave him number 11. He was like my Dante Culpepper. You catch my drift. So then last year came and I did the same thing, but I got the Falcons. And then I acquired Willis again, and he was number 7. He was my Mike Vick. And then I acquired whatchamacallit from the Colts. And he basically was my Brian Finneran. I gave him number 86. I acquired A-Chain from the Dolphins, who was a user. I gave him Bijan Robinson for A-Chain, and I changed him to 28, and he was my Warwick Dunn. I changed Algier to 45. He was basically like my TJ Duckett, and so on and so forth. But where that came back to bite me in a behind was I wasn't paying attention to the team's cap, team's salary. So a lot of the moves that I made was starting to get me in trouble. So I had to revert to restructuring contracts just to free up some of that space. And it basically got me in a bind early on, but we didn't go far in that league anyways because it ended up getting cut short after like the second year because of a lot of drama. And I took a break and I just drifted so far away from it, and I was playing Fortnite the whole time that I just didn't care to go back to it. And then College Football 25 came out, which got me back into football mode. And then I've been producing all this content. So now my focus, I could care less if they got their little drama or whatever. My focus is in so many different areas right now. I'm providing content for you guys. So whatever happens, whatever. I don't care, because I always got this I could play. I got that I could play. I could do this, I could do that, whatever. So I say all that to say this. Me screwing up like that, although it didn't mess me over too much because I did shut the league down, I knew better going into this, man. So I knew better to scout and go look for what teams had the most cap, what were the best options to choose for a rebuild. And ultimately, I went ahead with the Raiders because, again, they don't have a high-priced quarterback, and they have a ton of cap. And they got some key cornerstone pieces in Max Crosby and Wilkins. So it was a no-brainer. And, again, I done acquired Kyle Pitts. I got Brock Bowers. So I don't need Michael Mayer, although he's nice. And I just signed N'Keal Harry, who's another fast tight end. So I can go ahead and ship Michael Mayer out of here. And I can go ahead and acquire some draft picks in return. Because I've already acquired the 3 players that I can acquire. Now it's just trying to acquire the 3 draft picks. I try to get that out the way early. I don't like carrying that on throughout the season, because if I acquire 1 or 2 players early, and I acquire like 1 pick early, and I get like 6 games into the year, and I want to go make up for, or I get to the off season and I want to go ahead and do the rest, well, then I done forgot what all I acquired. I don't know whether or not I acquired 3 or if I acquired 1. So I get it out the way early. I build my team out early. I sign them all to the little 7-year extensions early. That way I could just focus on developing and trying to win and trying to stack the wins and just turning the organization around. So you're going to see. You're going to get to watch. Like I said, I wish I would have actually posted all of the dynasty or franchise rebuild content that I did have for my Madden 24 franchise and my Madden 23 franchise with the Falcons and the Vikings, because you would have saw what I'm capable of doing with these lower rated players. You're probably looking like, how the hell is he gonna develop that team with those players with a quarterback 63 overall? Watch me work. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But what's in the past is in the past. I might do something later on where I take all that documented footage and just be like, do a rewind of when I was running those leagues. But it's not necessary right now, because I can show you right now what I'm capable of doing with these players and how I can develop them. So this is just my process. Again, this is a little drawn out. I'm going to cut it short here in a second. I'm almost finished. I'm about close to being done. Like I said, I just got a couple more players I got to ship out, acquire a couple more draft picks, then make these trade proposals to these users so I can completely fill out my roster. Then I'm gonna make my edits, which is changing their numbers, accessories, and everything. You won't see that. That won't be in here. I'm cutting all of that out of here. But I'm gonna do that, reorder my depth chart, and then it's on to training camp. And then it's on to the preseason. But all of that will be separate from this. This is just the start. This is just me filling out my team, me building the team, how I like it. As you can see, the more I'm shipping some of these guys with these bigger contracts out and just acquiring picks and stuff, the more my cap room is increasing. And it's going to be better off again come year 2 when it's time to, or come the off season when it's time to sign free agents, which I'm probably, since I'm able to get all of these guys that I got so far. Normally, I'm not able to acquire as many as I've acquired already. But since I've acquired all of these guys, it's not even really necessary for me to go crazy in free agency. Really, all I need to do in free agency, probably the only 2 moves that I need to make. Boom, and there we go. I got me a trade pending. I think this is a good move. I'm sending him a decent back. He's getting a really solid safety, and he's getting an up and coming tight end. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get him to give me the okay, give me the green light on that one. But yeah, the only two acquisitions I'm probably gonna make in offseason is specifically going into free agency is acquiring offensive line. Again, you heard me say that I need quarterbacks on my team with the same skill set, or a similar skill set. So I acquired Tyler Huntley. So now I got Willis, I got Desmond Ridder, and I got Huntley. So I got at least one more trade with a user that I'm trying to make, and then that'll be it. And then, like I said, I'm gonna cut this episode short, and everything else from here is gonna be training camp. Again, those videos are gonna be a lot less longer than this video. Just like my very first Dynasty rebuild video was like 45 minutes long. It was just getting used to everything. It was filling out my recruiting board, learning recruiting on the fly, and doing all that. This is similar, but not exact, because I'm sitting here, I'm trying to acquire all the free agents I can acquire. I'm trying to make all the trades that I can acquire to completely build this team to where I want it, which is young and fast, and sign them to them deals. And then everything else, like I said, from there is going to be like 10 to 15 minute episodes. 10 to 15 minute episodes, maybe 20 minutes, but nothing is ever going to be as long as this until it gets to the off season again. That's when you'll see longer videos. And I don't know, I might stream the whole draft on here, or I might just keep the content and then edit it up. Who knows? You'll see when the time comes forward to it. But normally what I do when I'm trying to get my content so I can edit it up and put it in here for y'all, I do it on Twitch. And then I just download it from there and I chop it up and I put it out there. But since I'm in an online league, and I know some of the people that's in my league follow me, I'm not doing that. So I'm streaming it straight to my computer, and I'm screen recording straight to my computer, and I'm chopping it up and I'm putting it out there. So I'm only putting out there what I want y'all to see, not what I want everybody to see. Because if I put everything out there for all of y'all to see, well, then everybody is going to get the edge on me in my league and know what I like to do, whether it be players that I go after or game style or how I play. So can't have that. We got enough scouts in the league as it is, because we do stream games. We do stream certain matchups when people request them. Super Bowl normally is streamed no matter what, but they got people that watch and they got people that scout, and I ain't about to be a part of that. You gonna see what I show you, and that's it. That's it. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna make this last trade, this last proposal, to try to get some more picks, because I think we did lose a couple picks with some of these trades that we made. So I'm really just trying to get picks back, and I feel like these are solid trades to be making. They getting a really good safety. They're getting a solid backup running back. Just should be good. Oh, they accepted. There we go. Off the bat. So boom, we got the Broncos. He accepted my trade proposal, so I'm getting 3 picks from him, 2 in 2025 and 1 in 2026, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. And the Chargers accepted, and I'm getting a 5th round pick from them in 25 and a 4th round pick in 26. So we gonna take it. But that's gonna be it. That's it for this one. For the most part, my team is filled out, and I don't have much else to do except for edit player numbers, etc., etc. And then it's time to jump into training camp. So if you made it this far, you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with all Madden 25 content, as well as this franchise rebuild and tutorials. So again, I appreciate you all. That's been my time. Till next time. Peace.